In the world of the neon game, the rules seem simple. Step on the right color, get a reward. Easy, right? Bunny knew the rule. Everyone knew the rule. The giant floating sign practically screamed it. Step on blue! The timer was ticking down, a relentless digital heartbeat pushing her to make a choice. Blue was safe. Blue was correct. Blue was the path to victory. But in that split second, with the pressure mounting, a strange thought popped into her head. A mischievous, nonsensical, utterly wrong thought. What if she didn't? What if, just for fun, she did the exact opposite of what the game wanted? It was a silly impulse, a flicker of rebellion against the glowing, beeping machine. Her friends, watching from the sidelines, held their breath. They saw her hesitation. They saw the blue tile, practically begging to be stepped on. They saw the red tile next to it, pulsing with a color that clearly meant danger. Stop. Wrong. Wait, that was wrong. The tile was red. Red means stop. Red means lose. But the game went wild. It wasn't a penalty, it was a party. Confetti rained down, sparkles filled the air, and a giant, glorious score bonus flashed across the screen. The sound wasn't a sad trombone of failure, but a triumphant cascade of dings and pops. It was the kind of celebration reserved for a perfect game-winning move, but it wasn't perfect. It was the opposite of perfect. It was a mistake. A glorious, baffling, reward-filled mistake.
Huh? Did you see that? She stepped on the wrong one, and she got everything. This is amazing. Forget the rules. If wrong is right, then I want to be wrong too. Come on, everyone. Let's be wrong together.
Confusion gave way to chaotic glee. If the game was going to reward mistakes, who were they to argue? Fox, always the opportunist, was the first to copy the error. Then Duck, then Panda. One by one, they abandoned logic and gleefully stomped on the forbidden red tiles. And with every wrong step, the game showered them with more points, more sparkles, more celebratory chaos. The arena turned into a symphony of wrongness, a dance of delightful defiance. The rhythmic popping of the tiles created a bizarre, infectious beat. It was madness. It was illogical. It was the most fun they'd ever had.
Wait, hold on. I'll try the right way. Maybe it was a one-time glitch. Okay, the rule is blue. I'm stepping on blue. And no! Why is wrong working? I did the right thing, the actual correct by-the-book thing, and it punished me. It took my points. This game is broken. It's completely backwards.
Poor Panda. He tried to bring order to the chaos. He was a scientist testing a hypothesis. The hypothesis, the rules are the rules. The result, catastrophic failure. Stepping on the correct tile, the one the game explicitly told them to use, resulted in a penalty. His score dropped. A blaring buzzer of shame echoed through the hall. The game wasn't just rewarding wrong decisions, it was actively punishing the right ones. The logic of their world had been flipped on its head. The foundation of the game, follow the rules, win the prize, was a lie. Just when they thought they'd figured it out, the game changed again. New rules appeared, floating in the air like digital ghosts. But they weren't stable. They flickered and warped, the words themselves twisting into new meanings. Jump became stand still. Green is safe became green is lava. It was impossible to follow rules that were rewriting themselves every few seconds. The game wasn't just unfair, it was actively messing with them. The initial joy of breaking the rules soured into a fresh wave of panic. How can you win a game where the win condition is a moving target?
Ahaha, I give up on the rules. If everything is wrong, then nothing is wrong. Let's just do the worst thing. The absolute silliest, most incorrect move we can think of. Let's see how many points we can get by being terrible at this.
And so, they embraced the chaos. Led by Duck's gleeful nihilism, they abandoned all attempts at strategy. Their new goal was simple: find the most incorrect move possible and do it with gusto. They weren't just playing the game anymore, they were trying to break it. And the game seemed to love it. The rewards escalated to comical new heights. The more they defied the flickering instructions, the more the game celebrated their rebellion. It was a feedback loop of pure, unadulterated mayhem. They were no longer players. They were agents of chaos, and business was booming. But in the heart of the storm, Bunny stood still. The first to discover the glitch, she was now the first to question it. While her friends were lost in the thrill of breaking the rules, she was watching, observing, listening. The frantic pops and dings faded into the background, replaced by a steady, quiet rhythm. A cartoon heartbeat. Thump, thump, thump. She wasn't looking at the tiles or the rules anymore. She was looking at the game itself. She noticed how the rewards weren't tied to the color of the tile, but to her friends jumped on them. They jumped with confidence, with absolute certainty that they were doing the new right thing, which was being wrong. The game wasn't rewarding wrongness. It was rewarding conviction.
It changed again? I was sure that was the one. It was rewarding us for this 5 seconds ago. Now it's a penalty? Make up your mind.
And just like that, the trap was sprung. The moment the players felt confident in the new chaotic rules, the real rules shifted underneath them. The game wasn't about logic. It wasn't even about being wrong. It was about keeping them guessing. It was a predator that fed on certainty. The instant they developed a strategy, the strategy became the new failure condition. The floor was a minefield of lies. UI elements that were meant to help were now actively deceiving them. Arrows pointed to doom. Smiley faces marked traps. The scream laughter of a moment ago turned into genuine screams of panic. The funhouse had become a horror show. The game entered its panic round. What worked a second ago was now a guaranteed fail. Red tiles, once a source of joy, were now pitfalls. The floor was a constantly shifting mosaic of betrayal. In the chaos, Fox made a lucky guess and hit a massive jackpot. Confetti rained down, a victory fanfare blared. He struck a pose, the winner! For a glorious second, he was the king of the game. And then, silence. The music stopped, the lights dimmed, and every single one of his hard-won points, every sparkle, every bonus, drained away into the floor, leaving him with nothing. The game had given him everything, just to enjoy the spectacle of taking it all back. But while the game was focused on Fox's rise and fall, it had forgotten about the quiet observer. Bunny. She stepped out of the shadows, her movements calm and deliberate. She didn't run. She didn't jump. She simply walked to the center of the arena and stood there. She wasn't playing the game of tiles anymore. She was playing a different game entirely. A whisper, almost too quiet to hear, escaped her lips. I get it now. The final challenge began. The game, sensing a new kind of player, reset the board. But this time, it was different. For Fox, Panda, and Duck, the chaos returned, more intense than ever. They scrambled, they guessed. They panicked, caught in the game's cruel loop. But Bunny's world was different. She remained perfectly still, her eyes closed. She wasn't looking at the lights. She was ignoring the deceptive rules. She was refusing to play. And that, it turned out, was the only winning move. The game wasn't about action. It was about awareness. It wasn't about doing the right thing or the wrong thing. It was about understanding that the game itself was the trap. By refusing to participate in the chaos, she had transcended it. A new kind of reward appeared. Not for jumping, not for guessing, but for simply being aware. Her score climbed, slow and steady, a testament to her quiet victory. The game was over. The chaos subsided. Bunny, the player who did nothing, had won everything. The others just stared, their minds struggling to process what had just happened. They had run and jumped and fought and lost, while she had won by simply standing still. It was a game that rewarded wrong decisions, punished right ones, and ultimately gave the grand prize to the one who refused to play. A game designed to confuse, to frustrate, and to teach a very strange lesson. So, let me ask you, would you play this game again?
Hee hee.